with our feet shoulder width apart and thinking about the shoulder, and I've sort of put my hand on my shoulder there. Think about circling that area of the sort of rounded bit at the top of your shoulder, just circling backwards on one side. And imagine that there's a neon sticker on that circle, on that shoulder, sorry, and you're thinking about the circle that you can create. And then pop your hand on your shoulder, and now you've moved your neon sticker to your elbow, and if I stay sideways, you are thinking about the circle that you're creating with your elbow, as big a circle as you can. And there's a little bit of rotation in the upper body, and then the last one is you put the circle, the neon sticker, into the palm of your hand or just on your hand, and we're circling the whole arm. So taking a nice rotation around the spine, and then let's bring that same arm forward, so changing direction. So because we're trying to create this big movement, this big circle with our arm, think about the reciprocal movement that happens in the rest of the spine. And then let's pop the hand on the shoulder, pop your sticker on your elbow, and try and go equally as far back as you go forwards with that elbow. Great, and then finishing off, just thinking about the shoulder. Top of your shoulder. So if you've got a short sleeve top on, that short sleeve t-shirt, that bit there, that's the bit we're trying to move. And then let's swap sides. Just the shoulder. Great, popping the hand on the shoulder, thinking about the elbow, noticing there's a little bit of rotation happening in the rib cage, but you don't really need to move the hips much. And then once you get that whole arm joining in, make sure you're comfortable, don't force anything. So that arm is going all the way up and back, and now to make it comfortable, I'm allowing hips and ankles to join in. And then let's bring the arm forwards. Same thing. Rotating around the spine, standing up really nice and tall, hand on the shoulder, get that elbow circling, and then finishing off just the shoulder on its own. So hopefully all of that movement with the shoulders and just moving around the upper neck and everything has got you nice and warm around here. And it feels quite nice to put your hands there actually and just sort of make contact there and just release a little bit of tension there. So now we're thinking about drawing a figure of 8 lying on its side. So drawing 2 circles next to each other with your tip of your nose. And maybe close your eyes just so that you can feel what's going on. Changing direction. So it's not so play about with the shape of your figure of 8. So 2 circles, but it might be a little bit more of a teardrop shape. If you turn your head more to the side, you might want to make a big, deep, long circle in a different way. Just have a good old wiggle about there, just releasing the neck. And then we're bringing the hands forwards. I'm going to come a little bit closer to the camera. Flex your hands and bring your hands in front of you. And we're again thinking about the neon sticker being attached to this shoulder up here, and we're rolling, taking a circle with the shoulders forwards and backwards. Backwards actually for the moment, sorry. My arms are out in front of me, my arms are moving forwards and backwards. I knew that was going to come in somewhere. But my body is staying still. I'm staying nice and upright. And then we're going to try, let's change direction. So I was taking backward circles with the shoulder, with my neon sticker on here. In fact, I should get a neon sticker for this class. Now I'm taking a forward shoulder roll. It's quite hard hard work. Again, this is all getting nice and warm. Stretch it out if you need to. Try that same movement with your hands against the wall or a door or a fixed object. So standing up, hands out in front of you, hands sort of opposite your shoulders. And now you can't move and keep your arms nice and straight. You can't move your arms forwards and backwards. The only thing you can do as you try and rotate those shoulders, make that circular movement, take that circular pattern on the shoulders, is your body will move forwards and backwards. But the biggest area, the thing that I want you to really focus on, is the rib cage area. So pretty much, I'm just coming away from the wall so that you can see. In fact, no, I need to go back to the wall because otherwise I'd cheat. I want you to feel this sensation of the rib cage, the box of your rib cage almost, moving forwards and backwards because you can't move your arms when you take this movement here at the shoulder. Try it in both directions, just see how it feels. Hopefully we're loosening everything up around the shoulder girdle and around the rib cage. So our thoracic spine is our tightest area, that's the bit that we're trying to move a little bit. Okay, great, so we'll come back to that movement a little bit later. So clasping the hands, we're just carrying on with our warm-up, mobilising the body, but we're taking circles, a big circle with the arms forward. So you're drawing this big circle in front of you and then changing direction. So the focus here is shifting the rib cage in the opposite direction. So as your hands go forwards, your ribs go back. As your hands go to one side, your ribs go to the other side. As you bring your hands in, the chest, the ribs come to meet the hands, and then opposite side, and then back. So you end up taking a really nice big circle of the rib cage box in opposition to those arms. And it's just a nice warm up. So the legs are slightly, legs were shoulder width apart and the knees slightly soft. Let's go a little bit wider than shoulder width apart and take hip circles. So this is our hula hoop hips. Imagine you're touching the inside of that hula hoop all the way around. The back and the sides are easy. Try and get those hips to go forwards all the way, but lift your rib cage up, out off of the hips almost, so that you're creating space there. Just a few in each direction. Then bringing your feet and knees together. Fingertips touching your knees so that you keep your knees at the same height, essentially. You're not resting on the legs. And then we're circling the knees, as big a circle as you can. Keeping them together, keeping those fingertips touching the legs, so that when you go to the back part of the circle, you will almost straighten your legs. Go as far over to one side as you can, as far forwards as you can. And now think about, as you're doing this, what's going on in your ankles and your feet. So really be aware and allow your ankles and your feet, whoops, nearly fell over, to roll to one side, forwards and backwards, changing direction 2 or 3 times. Really try and mobilise everything, warm it up, get the blood flow going there. Perfect, and give those legs a little bit of a shake. Okay. We're standing on one leg and we're going to take some circles. I'm going to stand sideways on. Stand on your weaker leg to start with if you can, and bringing the other leg out in front, and we're circling the foot at the ankle. And then we're going to add the hands, in fact I'll start facing forwards, the hands circling at the wrist. So making sure as you've started to stand on one leg, so be near a bit of support if you need to, but try and stay without using support, just to work on your balance. You can tap your toe to the floor if you need to, but make sure the torso has stayed in its exact same position as where you were with both legs down. So no change to the tissue box. Great, we're going to add a movement. We're going to add a semicircle movement. We're going to carry the leg round to the back from the front, keeping it straight, twiddling the hands, twiddling the foot as we go. And then from when the leg is all the way at the back, there's a very slight pitch forwards. And then I'm just going to flex that foot. I'm going to stop the twiddling at the hands and the foot and come upright as I sweep the leg through, but nice and carefully. Again, there's no change. 4 of those. So let's do another 3 if you've already started that. We're taking the leg outwards from the centre, but I want you to rotate your hands, but not your hands, yes, but the foot mainly. I want you to rotate the foot inwards, and it's a bit of a brain teaser. And then we're going forwards and going again. So I'm circling the leg outwards, but my foot is circling inwards, I think. No, I don't think I'm doing that right. Oh, and then there's all sorts of things going on with my hands. It's quite challenging. Lifting up, ribcage off of the hips so that you can get that leg through without changing anything. Both legs are straight. Standing legs, probably screaming a little bit now. That's absolutely perfect. And I've carried on with my hands this time. Good. From here, 4 more going in the opposite direction. So sweep the leg through to the back. Now we're circling the leg inwards. So the foot needs to circle outwards. Ooh, and if you're a little bit bored or if you've forgotten about your hands, do some sea anemones instead. Ooh. Circling the leg inwards. 2 more. If you're truly doing your 4, there's the first rhyme of class. Woo! Try not to, and I can see myself doing it in the monitor, try not to have a leaning Tower of Pisa going on with that body. Lift up out of the hips. There's a lot going on here. And give that standing leg a little bit of a shake. Good. And then enjoy the fact that we're doing all of that on the other side. So just starting on one leg. From both feet together, standing up really nice and tall. Release that leg, bring the leg out in front of you. Get the foot going at the ankle. Let the arms be nice and relaxed. No bent elbows, so that means you're just using muscles in your upper arm to hold your arms up. Nice and relaxed, both directions, and then start to carry the leg round. So you know the system now. The leg is going outwards, but the foot is coming inwards. I find that I do the same thing, the same direction with my hands as my foot is going-ish. I'm trying to at least. So then maybe change the hands to sea anemones. See if you can keep the foot going. 2 more. So the foot is still circling, but hands are now doing sea anemones. It is all going on. Body, hips nice and square, shoulders and hips exactly the same position as if you were standing on both legs. Ooh. Coming all the way forwards. We're going in the opposite direction for our last 4. So the leg is coming inwards, the foot and maybe the hands are going to go outwards. Really try and keep those hips square to your front. I'm going to go back to sea anemones with my hands. And my foot is going inwards for this one. I'm going to stick with it just so that I carry on with the movement. And sweeping through 2 more. Ooh. It's very tempting because we're turning the foot out to turn the leg out. But try and keep those hips nice and still. Last one. Standing up as tall as you can, sea anemones, and bring that leg in and give the legs a bit of a shake. Perfect. One more standing exercise. Focusing on circles. Again, come back to the neon sticker. So from the side, and you might want a little bit of support for this one. But try not to be too close to a wall or something, because at the end I want you to get your movement nice and big. So we're going to circle the foot. You've put the sticker on your ankle bone. So from the side, You're taking the leg back, up, forwards and down. And then we're going to add sticker on your back of this hand, on the palm of this hand, and you're at the same time creating circles with those hands. So sort of a piston movement, so getting that nice opposite hand to knee movement as you come forwards. Now as you're getting going, my standing leg is nice and straight. I'm going to get a little bit bigger. So trying to swing the leg out behind me, trying to lift it up a little bit more, reaching the arms a bit more. Arms aren't really doing a circle anymore, but they're about to, because we're going to take front crawl swimming with a long arm and that leg as big as you can. So lots of lovely movement, lots of lovely wobbling about is fine. Make it happen. Try and stay on that one leg. Get that really nice rotation in the shoulders, but the hips are staying fairly still. See if you can stretch that leg up behind you. Oh, how relaxed. Give that standing leg a bit of a shake and a pat. And let's do all of that on the other side. So standing on one leg, we are getting the foot circling, thinking of our knee on sticker at that ankle, and then adding the arms. So quite often when we do this sort of thing, and we will repeat similar thing lying on the floor, we forget about the backwards part of the circle, or the back, the elbow going back on the arms. Try and focus on an equal amount of movement behind your straight line, behind your plumb line, as in front. Now I'm getting a little bit bigger with the movements. Lifting that knee up, swinging the leg back more. There's a slight hip hinge. When you don't think you can go any bigger with the leg or the arms, turn it into a big swimming action of the arms. A front crawl action, staying facing forwards, but get those shoulders twisting. My standing leg is actually bending a little bit, so every now and again, it's not dead straight, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to balance. But I'm challenging myself by really going as big as I can here. It's hard work, it's getting my heart rate up a little bit, getting a bit puffed out, and that will do for a warm-up. Great job. We are going to come down to the floor and we're going to be on all fours. I'm going to move monitors. See you down there. So from your all fours square box position, hands are underneath the shoulders. Make sure you spread fingers and thumbs, knees are underneath your hips. Your spine is in its natural curves. Now let's revisit those shoulder rolls that we did standing up. We did them freestanding with the arms, and then we put the hands against the wall or a door. So let's try and break it down though. Although we're going to do a circle, let's break it down into a square. So just allow your shoulders, first of all, to slide forwards towards your hips, and then to slide back towards your, no, wrong way round. No one spotted that, I'm sure. Slide forwards towards your ears, slide back towards your hips. That's the one. Forwards towards your ears, back towards your hips. Now this is the edge. This is the diameter, the width of our circle, because the shoulders on their own in this position can't go any more. They can't go any further than this. So this is the forwards and backwards, or horizontal. This is the horizontal distance, if that makes any sense at all. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, from your neutral position, let's look at the height of your circle. Now, in order for your shoulders to go up, the ribs need to drop down. And when the ribs drop down, it's like they've created a space, and your shoulder blades sort of shut the door They slide towards each other. I'm not squeezing them together, but my rib cage has dropped down. It's created a space, and your shoulder blades sort of close in behind to close up that gap, if you like. And then we're lifting the rib cage up back to a level position. Maybe a little bit higher, but we don't really want to overdo that too rounded at the top. So dropping down and lifting up. Now, really, my shoulders haven't gone anywhere. So this is the difficulty with this move. I was thinking of another word then, but this is the difficulty with this move. So when you're taking the forwards and the backwards part, you're moving your shoulders. When you take the up and the down, thinking about the sticker being on here, it's actually the ribs that move. So it's the ribs that drop down, and then you actively pull the ribs up. So let's think about connecting those 4 points of that square, turning it into a circle. So let's go forwards with the shoulders, let the ribs drop down, take the shoulders back towards your hips as you lift the ribs up. Forwards, let the ribs drop down, and then actually the two separate movements just blend into one. So now my rib cage is moving up and down all the time, whilst I create a circular movement here where you've got that sticker. So this is going backwards. I would call this backwards, this circle. Let's go forwards now. Up and over, all the way forwards. Hopefully that feels nice. Great, okay. From there, let's take some sit bone circles. So again, imagine your sticker, this time it's gone to the side of your hip. These are called circles, but they're actually more of a wave. I think of them as more of a wave. Tucking the pelvis under, taking the weight forwards over your hands, circling back, and then tucking under again. Circling back and tucking under. So it's the movement with the sticker here. It is more of a wave, as I say. And you can take this movement as big or as little as you like. Draw that pelvis under, so we're mobilising the spine primarily. Try going the other way, go forwards, then tuck up and under to go back. So it's not a very even circle, it's more of an oval. Great, it's just called sit bone circles. Brilliant, we have done some of those. Okay, so the next exercise, while you're watching the next exercise, while I'm explaining it, please feel free to sit back on your heels and do some sea anemones. So we've got another exercise on all fours. So you're going to be stressing the wrists and the hands, but equally you're going to be building some strength and stamina there. So just get those fingers moving while you're watching. So the goal here, we're going to release one leg. I'm going to release the leg that's closest to the camera, and I'm releasing the knee so that I can circle the knee. But I've let the rest of my leg is completely relaxed. The idea is when you release your knee is not to shift over onto one side, and it's also not to lift the foot up. So it's not here, because I'm creating a lot of extra tension in other muscles in my legs. Completely relaxed. So you're going to draw a tennis ball size circle. 10 in one direction, 10 in the other, at that kneecap, and then swap sides. 10 circles inwards, 10 circles outwards, no change in that shape of the body, it's in a perfect position. The second set is going to be much bigger. It's a football size circle. Drawing that at the knee, my foot is again relaxed on the floor. When you do the second side, it will be more challenging because of the bigger circle. Take the opposite hand away and place it on the chest. Now I can see in the monitor that I'm absolutely staying nice and square. Again, no leaning, no dropping down when you do that second set. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm going to change size, but brilliant. So from all fours, tennis ball size circle. 10, quite quick. Keep that belly button pulling in, keep the rib cage connected, keep lifting up out of the back of the head and neck. Probably the hardest thing here is going to be to keep that foot nice and relaxed. I've done my 10 in each direction, I'm going to swap sides. Oh, my hip just had a nice little clunk then. So a tennis ball size circle at your kneecap. The foot and the lower leg are just coming along for the ride. They're really not getting involved at all, really relaxed, just almost being dragged around by the knee and the thigh. And then to the bigger circle, so a football size circle now. Again, the foot is on the floor, but the knee will lift up. But notice my hips are staying absolutely still. Put the opposite hand on your hip. No, on your chest. Oh dear. And then change direction. So big circle with the knee. The idea is to relax and mobilise that thigh bone in the hip socket, but stabilise the rest of your body. I'm going to swap sides. I'm going to place my hand on my chest to start with actually this time, and then get going. Try and let that foot be as relaxed as possible. My socks are making a slightly weird noise on the mat, in case you're wondering what that is. If you're on carpet, you might not hear that. 10 in each direction. Your goal is to stay absolutely still in that body. Brilliant. And then we are coming down onto our elbows. Elbows underneath the shoulders. Hands together. So from this position, just draw your belly button in as tight as you can up towards your spine. And then I want you to come up into an elbows and knees plank, if you like. Your spine is absolutely in its natural curves. I'm strongly pulling the belly button in nice and tight. Elbows are underneath my shoulders. Imagine there's a light above your head. And I'm going to circle my head around my hands, because the light above my head is creating a shadow. My head is creating a shadow from that light. You can keep your knees down, which will mean that your circle is quite small. Maybe 5 in each direction. Do at least 2 sets. If you wanted to work harder, curl the toes under, straighten the legs. So you're in a full plank now. Circle. Roll over those toes. Keep your body square. Keep those hips level with your shoulders, so no bottoms up here. That's called cheating. And we're circling around. So now we're stressing elbows, shoulders, working the abs, all to create that nice circular movement, an even circle around, sort of like my chin is going around my hands. Changing direction. Hand relax down, collapse down when you've had enough. Brilliant. Okay, we are going to lie on our backs. The next section is quite subtle. We're going to take some pelvic clocks, so drawing a circle with the pelvis, but it's quite a subtle movement. So hopefully you will be able to follow that. So rolling down onto your back, come into your base position. Thinking about when you're in your base position, so your spine is beautifully in neutral, your lower back is in its natural curves, the nape of the neck is in its natural curves. Collarbone nice and open, allow your ribs at the back. So we've worked quite hard so far, and it's been a reasonably fast-paced class-ish. So I've just realised that I knew I was going to say to you to relax your ribs at the back, and I realised that I was actually quite tense. All my ribs below my bra strap we're actually quite lifted off of the mat. So just consciously allow that area to relax, especially those lower ribs. Just have a little melt almost into the mat. Because this work is very subtle, you need to be relaxed in your body. We need to switch on the exact right muscles. Just lift your head up a moment, support your head with the back of your hand. Sorry, support the back of your head with your hand and check that you're in the perfect neutral. So pubic bone, hip bones are on the same plane. I'm going to go a little bit more, I'm going to go completely sideways actually. Hopefully you'll be able to see, maybe not. I'm going to pull this up a little bit as well. I've got loads of tops on today. So, you may or may not be able to see, I've got quite a big curve underneath my lower back. But when I look, my pubic bone and my hip bones are on the same plane. Feet and knees are hip width apart. This position, our neutral pelvis, our neutral spine, we're going to call 6 o'clock on the clock face. And think about your sacrum, your coccyx, just wiggle it about a little bit. That is the area of contact that's making 6 o'clock on the clock. And then we're going to take a pelvic tilt. So you're going to scoop the tummy in, lift your pelvic floor, draw across, just scoop your tummy in like an ice cream scoop. And push the middle of your lower back, your waistband, the deepest part of your lumbar curve. Push that into the mat and make that becomes our 12 o'clock. And then roll back out to neutral. So 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. When we're in 6 o'clock, when we're in our neutral, imagine there's a big dinner plate and it's across your lower tummy. When you tuck under and take this posterior pelvic tilt, imagine you're rolling a pea from the middle of the dinner plate up to the top end of up to your belly button basically, and then when you roll back out again to 6 o'clock, sorry, it's all nice and flat. So tucking under, there should be absolutely nothing going on in your buttocks here. You could maybe squeeze your sit bones together a little bit, but nothing in the big, bulky buttock muscles. So that's relatively easy, hopefully. Make sure that you're scooping here and not bunching. So if you put your hand between your belly button and your pubic bone, there's a sensation of an ice cream scoop, like I said, or almost a smile from hip bone to hip bone. Nice and relaxed. It's soft, but it feels strong. It feels strong internally. That's the difference there. And then come back to neutral. Now we're going to go from one side to the other. So just place your hands at the side seam of your top of your body and make sure that your waist doesn't shorten. In fact, let's do that first. Shorten your waist on one side and then the other. So from above, you'd be shortening in the side, making a tight C curve on one side, a longer C curve on the other side. And if you lift your head up at this stage and you can see your hip bones, notice that they're still on the same level. So this isn't the movement that I want. This would be hitching. If you were standing up, you'd be shortening on one side, hitching the hip up. So you're trying to take the hip bone towards the lower ribs at the moment, but that's not the movement we want. What I want you to do actually is to rotate your hips from side to side. So the sides of the waist stay the same length, so keep your fingers there. Now push down one hip bone into the mat, come back through the centre and then push the other hip into the mat. So basically you can see just about in the monitor. In fact, if I go this way, probably I'll see a little bit better. It's now like a seesaw. I'm pushing my right hip down, the left hip is higher. Pushing my left hip down, the right leg is higher. My knee ends up above, one above the other, but I'm not letting my knees roll from side to side. It's just because of the length of the thigh bone. I'm exaggerating this, it doesn't need to be quite this big, but there's no change in the sides of my waist, in my torso at all. It's just that seesaw action. So now we're ready to join the dots, those 4 positions. So the side to side is your 3 and your 9 on the clock. And this movement might be much more difficult for you because we don't tend to use it. But you should be able to have the control to be able to adjust this movement using all those lovely internal deep stabilizing muscles. So let's go from our 6 o'clock. Yeah, let's keep the arms out by the side. So up to 12 o'clock, pushing that lower back into the mat, roll around to 3 o'clock. Roll your P around that top edge of your dinner plate. Roll around to 6 o'clock, keep going, we're going in a circle, roll around, come up from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, 9 to 12. Keep rolling, so we're creating a circle, but we're hitting those 4 points, or trying to hit those 4 points. And I'm exaggerating this, and then go the other direction. So one direction, your first direction will always be your easier one. Second direction will never be as natural. And some parts of the circle will be a little bit sticky, a little bit uncoordinated. You'll think, ooh, what's gone on there? I haven't quite managed to get that as smooth as I did on in the other direction. For me, going this way, so I'm going anti-clockwise, from 12 to 9 is really quite sticky. That top right hand corner, if you like. Brilliant. Okay, and relax. Now let's just take another subtle exercise, one we did standing up. Some figure of 8s, drawing them with the tip of your nose, with your head nice and heavy on the floor. Keep that head heavy. So for a lot of people, even lying on their backs on the floor without the use of a head pillow to elevate the head is actually very uncomfortable. So if you can get your head down and be comfortable, well done, that's amazing. And then if you can also just wiggle about, move about without too much discomfort, again, really good. Just waking up, firing up all those muscles. It's also quite a nice massage, as is the pelvic clocks tend to be a massage throughout your lower back and your around your pelvis. And this is a nice massage around the base of your skull, which again, hopefully will feel quite nice. Brilliant. Okay, moving on from the less subtle stuff, we are going to be taking some knee circles. So repeating what we did on all fours. Bringing one leg up into a knee fold, making sure that you're in a good neutral spine. Once you've got that leg up, make sure that the knee is directly above the hip. Allow that leg to just lower and dangle to the floor. And then just test the shape of your lower back by drawing the knee in towards your shoulder. You only need to move it a little bit and you'll probably be very aware that your pelvis tucks under. That's just the mechanics, but we don't want your pelvis tucked under. I want you to be in a good neutral pelvis. So, elbows on the floor, hands, fingertips just touching your hips. Circle that knee around. Let's go for tennis ball size circles. Now you may or may not notice as you're circling the knee around, because I haven't cued you with anything else, that your pelvis and your other leg are joining in a little bit. Okay, so let's stop that. Push the foot that's in the floor, the other leg, the back leg, push that foot into the floor, stabilise your pelvis, keep it absolutely still, and then take your tennis ball size circles with this kneecap. So we're mobilising, moving the leg, the thigh bone in that ball and socket joint of your hip. That's what we're trying to achieve here. keeping the rest of the pelvis stable by pushing down that foot into the floor. Okay, place that leg down, let's swap to the other side. Start with a knee fold, classical position in Pilates. Let that foot drop. Make sure it's nice and relaxed, let it dangle a little bit. Draw the knee in slightly towards your shoulder. Find your biting point for where your pelvis starts to tuck under. Take the knee away. Make sure the knee's above the hip, and then we are circling. And initially, don't push the other foot into the floor. So for me, this side is a little bit more stable because the side that's on the floor is my stronger side. It's my better side for stabilising. Changing direction. But I'm not really working too hard and everything is moving around a little bit. It's not a huge amount, but now I'm going to push down through this other foot into the floor. Really make sure my hips stay still. Thinking about the elbows. There's no change in the pressure on my elbows. There's no change in the hips underneath my fingertips. The only thing I'm concentrating on now is trying to move that knee in a tennis ball size shape. Circle even. Good, put that foot down. Let's come back to our first leg. Let's lift into a knee fold. Let's extend the leg away, nice and straight with the leg. It might be at 90, it doesn't need to be at 90, it can be a little bit further away. Beautiful pointed foot, beautiful straight leg. Slide the other leg along the floor, flex that foot. Push that foot down into the floor. From here, we're taking our circles again. We're drawing the circles with our toes. Really, even more important, elbows on the floor, fingertips touching your hips. Push that straight leg that's on the floor into the floor a little bit. Keep that pelvis as stable as you can. Between 5 and 10 circles in each direction. You could try 2 sets, see how it feels. When you've done that, the goal is to really keep those hips stable. And again, because my stabilising side, the one that's on the floor, is my weaker side, I can feel quite, not loads, but I can feel my hips moving around a little bit. So then from there, let's flex that top foot and then point the foot and curl the toes back and flex and point and flex and point. And then we're bringing the upper body up. Hang on to the back of that leg that's in the air. Try and go for the calf, but definitely not the back of the knee, because I want that leg to be really nice and straight. And then we're circling both feet at the ankles, same as we did when we were standing, and then change direction. We're now going to go for a little bit of a hamstring stretch. As you're circling, if you can bear it, draw that leg in, the straight leg, in towards your head. Lift up a little bit more. I'm hanging on to my leg for dear life. Good. And at the same time, we're waking up our whole central nervous system by twiddling the feet and getting that lovely stretch all the way along the backs of the legs and all the way down, all on the other leg. Well done. So starting with a knee fold, extend that leg. Beautiful straight leg, beautiful pointed foot. Slide the other leg along the floor. Flex that foot. Elbows on the floor, fingertips touching your hips. Circle the leg. Again, or circle the foot. So just make sure you're circling the leg from the hip joint. Go as big as you can, but don't go crazy. And notice I'm not really doing much bigger than a tennis ball size circle, because I want to keep my hips still. That's my goal. Keep the pelvis stable. Move the whole leg in that hip socket, in that ball and socket joint. Whoop, getting cramped with my foot. Change direction a couple of times if you like, and then hold that leg up there. Let's curl the toes back. Flex the foot. Really push the heel up. So I'm getting a lovely stretch the back of my knee and through my calf, and pointing and flexing and pointing. Then I'm lifting up, I'm hanging on to that leg and I'm circling both feet. All the while just gently easing that leg in towards me, but keeping it as straight as possible. And going a little bit more if you can. Oh, ankles are nice and warm now. Brilliant. Okay. Our abdominal section today, funnily enough, is going to be cycling and circles. We're going to get the legs cycling, but also we're going to get the arms and the elbows specifically joining in. So we're going to do circles with the elbows. Just have a little look here. So sit yourself up maybe, or just watch. We're going to start our abdominal exercise with the hands behind the head and the elbows forwards. Then you're going to have to release your hands at the back of your head to fingertips to temples. And I want you to take those circles that we did at the beginning with your elbows. So really taking the elbow all the way down, back, up and over. We're going this direction first, and then we're going in the opposite direction. And you'll notice, and again, if you can do this, if you can sit up like this, you'll notice that there's lots of lovely rotation in the upper body. So when we get going with this movement, none of this, no just twisting from side to side. Get those elbows circling. Get back to thinking about these stickers on your elbows. Okay, here we go. Put this over this way a little bit. So hands at the back of the head. We've got 4 varieties of this. Try and keep going if you can. So really bend those knees in all the way. Lower back is pushed into the floor, and I'm also scooping everything in. Pulling my belly button strongly towards my spine. Coming up, trying to clear the shoulder blades, elbows are forwards, head is heavy in the hands, and here we go. A beautiful cycling action. Pointed feet, straight leg. The straight leg lowers. That's the movement that we're after. A 45-degree angle with the legs. They don't need to be too low to the floor. They don't need to be too high up. But make sure that your ankle bones, they've got that sticker on there, make sure there's a nice circle going on. Let's do the same thing, but in reverse. Flex the feet. Keep those shoulder blades cleared. Keep that tummy scooping in, really nice and tight. So the option here, if it's getting too much, is to lower the head. If you're going to lower the head and shoulders down, keep your lower back imprinted. Take the legs higher up towards the ceiling. Don't make it too big if you're here. But if you can, come up nice and rounded. So we're flexing the feet, we're extending that straight leg, we're lifting that straight leg. That's the important part. That's the tough bit. Okay, we're adding those arms in. Keep going if you can. Pointing the feet, release the fingertips. We're circling those elbows. We're going opposite elbow to knee. I'm touching the inside of my knee each time. I'm rotating that elbow back. Whew, you can see how hard I'm working from the sweat marks on my top. Rolling across, and here we go for the grand finale, reversing the direction of the legs and elbows. Twisting from side to side, keeping that torso as strong as you can, belly button pulled in tight. When you would like to stop, we're nearly there. I'm going to count you down for the last 10. Keep going. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Rest your head down. Hug your knees in. Hands on top of your knees. Let your head just roll from side to side. Take some lovely circles with your knees. Massage that lower back. And breathe. Good job. maybe circling both knees outwards and inwards. Try and relax the legs. Make your arms and your hands do the work. Make your arms and your hands move the legs. And good job. We are going to lie on our side. Have a little look here, because we're going to start on our side and then we're going to stay on one side and move into Garuda shoulder clocks. So the amount of space you're going to need here is we're going to start here with the underneath leg nice and straight. We're going to draw some figure of eights there, and then we're going to have the legs crossed over. We're going to use the top leg, place it on top. You're going to roll onto your back, and then we're going to take some shoulder clocks, or actually this way as well. So that's the amount of space you need. So with your legs bent, make sure that you can do this lovely big circle with your arms. So let's start lying on one side with your knee in front of your hip and your foot below your knee. So you're sort of like you're sitting on a chair here. Top leg level with your hips, at the height of your hips, parallel to the floor. The foot is beautifully pointed. Hips are stacked. Underneath the arm, the palm is up. So a little bit of rotation there. Now at the moment I'm completely collapsed on my underneath side, so my waist is touching the mat. I'm going to push down, I'm going to lift up and gather in that waist, drawing belly button to spine, lifting pelvic floor, making sure that the hips are truly stacked. Then we're going to draw a figure of 8 lying on its side with your toes. So as I said earlier, the thing that happens here is that we end up drawing, if I go this way, you'll see what I mean. I can't quite get my arm in there. But so you can see I'm in my straight line. So we end up doing the figure of 8 in front of our straight line. From here, this is my straight line, make sure there's an equal circle backwards as there is forwards. The backwards part is the harder part. That's where we tend to miss off. Yeah. So keep going, nice and even with that circle. So 2 circles back to back, creating your figure of 8, not too fast. And we're going, as always, make sure that waist is lifted, we're going in our natural direction. Brilliant. When you would like to stop, when you're thinking I've really had enough of this, maybe there's some good work going on in that buttock and that outside thigh, change direction for your figure of 8. Again, I'm just looking down, I'm making sure I'm drawing that circle, an equal circle behind my straight line. Whoops, trying to concentrate on going in the opposite direction as well. It's all going on there. Brilliant. And when you start to feel that it's really getting quite strong and burning a little bit, do a couple more and then roll over onto your back. So the leg that was on top, if you're on your back, it should be the leg that's away from the camera now. So lift that leg up and cross it over your camera side leg, and with no gap between your legs. Arms are out to the side, palms are up, hands are slightly lower than your shoulders. Just let your knees gently roll over towards the camera and then bring them back again. You can go a little bit beyond centre if you like. This is just a lovely mobilising of the spine in a rotational plane. 3 or 4 of those. My back shoulder tends to come off the floor. I'm reaching that arm away a little bit to come back. My head wants to loll away from the direction that the knees are going in. So, okay, so let's go all the way over to the side. So we're rolling to face onto your, or to roll onto your side, facing into the camera. We're going to circle that back arm round and down onto the floor. It's on the floor, sorry, it goes over your hips, you circle it round. We're drawing this hand is going round a clock face. It comes above your head and you look into that hand. Keep the arm going and then at the last moment allow your head to come back to the centre. And let's go again, same direction, roll over onto your side. You could lift the head up and look behind you just to get a bit more rotation. Look into that palm. Open up that shoulders, a lovely stretch across your chest. And then one more. This time let's take the arm up, all the way. Again, take the hand over your hips. Let the hand lead the way and that will unravel your spine. Brilliant. Sitting yourself up, let's swap direction with the legs over to the other side. So again, just facing the camera so that you can see what's going on. Palm is up, lift that waist, stack the hips. Push down a little bit on this underneath leg into the floor. And we're drawing our figure of 8. Keep that foot pointed, just softly pointed, no curly toes, none of this happening. Instep nice and straight. Maybe lift your head up, check that that back part of your figure of 8 is going behind your midline. Keep that waist lifted. Keeping the neck long. Reach the fingertips of that underneath hand away. Spine is long. Belly button drawn in. My rib cage is connected. Although I'm focusing on what's going on in the leg, hips starting to feel a little bit of work now. Good. I'm going to change direction. Check that waist. Make sure you have to really be conscious of going backwards behind that midline, but no movement in the pelvis. There's no tipping forwards and backwards. Oh, I'm just going to do a couple more now. That's starting to really kick in. Yeah, well done. Lovely. Roll onto your back. Cross that leg over. Sipping cocktails at the bar, so no gap between the legs. Arms out by the side. And then let the legs roll over gently towards the camera and then roll back in the other direction. Just notice if your head rolls to the other side. It might not. You might be quite happy just leaving your head. But try not to have any tension anywhere with this. Try and breathe. Try and just let it go. Let your body go. Use a bit of momentum with the weight of those legs. Brilliant. Let's roll all the way onto our sides. Let that arm start its circle around the clock face. Goes over your hip. Reaches way past your other hand. Nowhere near it. Goes up above your head. You look into that palm. And then I stay looking up. I let my head rest first actually. And let the arm go over, and then that miraculously brings the legs back to the beginning. And again, over to the side. You might want to lift the head up and look behind you this time. Just flow. Notice how this side feels compared to the other side. One more, last one. This time I'm taking the arm in the opposite direction. It's not the end of the world if you do the same direction again. Let the arm sweep past your hips, let it open out back to the side, and then you unravel. And good job. Rolling over onto your side. Finishing off our class of circles with some spine circles. So absolutely square box position. I'm going to face forwards for this one. So ribs go out to the side. Ribs go up, out to the side, and they drop down. Side, and dropping down. So this is our vertical spine circle. It's like your body is a skipping rope. And then we take our horizontal spine circle. So your body is an industrial floor cleaner for this one. It's staying on the same plane. It's taking a circle all the way around. Again, stressing the wrists, stressing the shoulders, just getting everything woken up and mobilised. Well done, thank you for joining me. That was live at 5 and today's class was all about circles. I look forward to seeing you again soon.